Now you've seen my first look and review of the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross and I absolutely loved it. So instead of having to review it all over again after using this thing for a few days, I'm gonna do a little bit something different and mix things up. I'm gonna show you 5 reasons why you should get the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross, and I'm gonna tell you 5 more reasons why you shouldn't get one. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here for Zigwheels.Ph, and don't buy a Mitsubishi Xpander Cross until you've watched this video. So the first reason why you might want to get a Mitsubishi Xpander Cross is actually right down there. You've got 225 millimeters of ground clearance to play with, and if you want to use this as reference, it's actually almost the same as the Mitsubishi Montero Sport or any other mid-size SUV out there. Now the reason why you want to get this much ground clearance, especially in an MPV or SUV or even a uni crossover, is that you want to make sure that you're safe whenever you traverse the flooded streets, especially during monsoon season or going out on adventures, especially off-road. You don't want to take this off-road, but the extra ground clearance definitely helps out. So yes, for first reason why you want to get an Xpander Cross, that much ground clearance. Now, of course, it's not going to be all unicorns and rainbows. A lot of people have been criticizing me that I love vehicles so much that I'm not giving out any negatives. So here's the first thing why you shouldn't get an Xpander Cross, and it's under the hood. Under the hood, you've got a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine that makes 103 horsepower and 141 Newton meters of torque. Now, while some people think that that much power, that power figure isn't enough to pull this whole entire vehicle, especially going down the highway, well, yes, it's just really kind of adequate. The reason behind that is that it's mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission. It still handles itself pretty well. It's just that it runs out of power, kind of feels a little gruff, especially when you're up in the RPMs, and I felt that on the road. Don't get me wrong, I love my cars slow and steady. I wish that it had a little bit more power, but because of that, it actually leads to a positive on this car's end, which I'll tell you more about in a bit. Now, one of the top reasons why you should get a Mitsubishi Xpander Cross is, of course, the looks. You've got those T-shaped headlamps right there, which are below the DRLs, and you've got an all LED affair for the lighting structure of this one. I probably don't like these chrome bits right there. I'd probably black them out if I had one myself, but as it stands right now, it looks great. But my favorite part about how it looks, apart from the two-tone look and those functional roof rails, are those OEM mags. Now, these are one of the better looking OEM wheels that I've seen in a long time, and I've said that in my first look and review. I mean, look at it. It's got that machine look to it, which I don't usually love, but because of how it's shaped, it has this snowflake, this blade kind of design that I really appreciate. Those are just 17-inch wheels on 205 series tires, and it still looks great. So top marks for Mitsubishi for giving us something really different with these wheels. I usually say that whenever you buy a vehicle, the first thing that you should change to expand, well, see what I did there? To expand the overall look is to change the wheels. But in this case, you don't have to do anything because they look amazing and it's on its own right. I see a couple of people who'd probably be trading this in, who won't want it, but for those who would like to get these ones and put them on their own expander, yes, these are great. Winner. When you talk about technology in the Xpander Cross, it does have the basics. You've got your air conditioning control right here. It's not automatic control, but it definitely does the job. You got your 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and a digital display cluster right there. The thing is, at this price point, a lot of the vehicles it's competing against has more technology than what you already have right here. Provided the Xpander Cross does have a start-stop button, you've got an electronic parking brake, you've got automatic brake hold, but that's basically all of the technology that you're getting. The Xpander Cross definitely could use a little bit more convenience features. It doesn't even have a vanity mirror for the driver. You have a vanity mirror for the passenger, but you don't have any vanity lights. You have a really nicely sculpted dashboard in here, but everything is hard plastic. So you got soft touch right there in the middle, but it's not really confidence inspiring. So yes, that's another dig that I have with the Xpander Cross. It could have added a little bit more pizzazz in the interior, but as it is, it's as basic as it gets, but it's not really confidence inspiring. Right, so one of the biggest draws of getting a Mitsubishi Xpander Cross or any MPV/SUV is actually this. This part right here is why you buy an Xpander Cross. You got seating for 7 people, and that's real. Check this out, I'm seated right here on the second row, and there's even more space right here on my side. So if I can imagine myself sitting here, or 3 of myself here, it's definitely a possibility. There is a slight center tunnel in the middle, but it's not that high. So even if I sit right here, still pretty comfortable. So even if I put myself in the middle here with 2 other people sitting right beside me, it's still fine. So yep. Plus, if you're planning of working anywhere or working remotely, you've got a USB-C type charger here and a USB-A charger. You got a nice center armrest right here in the middle. And that's another place where you can put your laptop in, by the way. There you go, that's perfect. And you got these nice AC vents up top, which you can easily control right here as well. And yes, we're gonna try the 3rd row right now and see how that works out for me. All right, so to get to the 3rd row, I mean, gotta just tumble these seats forward and getting in, close the door. What's up? This is, I don't know, this is a no-go for me, but the 2nd row seats actually slide forward. So if you need even more space, there you go. Slide them forward. And yeah, this, let's just to recline the 3rd row seats. There you go. Move the seats up. No matter how much I try to fit myself here in the 3rd row, there's just barely enough space for me. It's perfectly fine. This is probably still a plus 4D Xpander Cross because you do have some cup holders in the back as well as a 12-volt socket right here. So yes, this is definitely a pass. If you want to get an Xpander Cross, this definitely seats 7 people, and they have enough toys and cup holders, bottle holders, chargers to keep themselves busy. So plus points for the Xpander Cross. All right, so one of the digs that I have against the Xpander Cross is, like I said, everything seems to be a little bit more plasticky, a little bit, you know, you're driving a budget car when you're inside here. As you go on the road, the suspension does a really admirable job of eating up all the road imperfections, giving a comfortable drive. That's because the shock absorbers, those particular parts that hold the car up, shares the same platform, shares the same parts as the Montero Sport. So that's one thing that you might want to keep in mind. But when it comes to noise levels, it's not really doing a good job at that, because you can still hear a lot of the sounds from the outside. For example, that horn, all these motorcycles coming in. I just wish that it did a better job with keeping that at bay. But when it comes to vibration and harshness, this is definitely a good car. But noise, no, I don't think it really passes that for me. Fuel economy figures. In city traffic, you can get around 9 to 10 kilometers per liter in the city, and that's with heavy traffic. But when the traffic does open up, I got around 11 kilometers per liter in the city. And on the highway, with normal driving, without thinking about fuel economy at all, I was able to get 16.7 kilometers per liter. Well, when it comes to safety features, it's pretty bare here. You got 2 airbags with electronic brake force distribution and ABS. You got a backup camera, traction control, vehicle stability control. I wish that the Xpander Cross had more safety features, given that this is a family car. I might be asking too much, especially for a car at this price point, but if Mitsubishi added some more safety features as standard, and for some reason they can add a few more things, even with just a little bit of a price bump, that would be much appreciated. Mitsubishi Philippines has been touting the Xpander Cross of having the one feature that Mitsubishi fans might actually go crazy over. It's active yaw control. So what active yaw control does is that during hard corners, especially when it's slippery and all that, you want to make sure that you have the shortest or the smallest turning radius possible. Basically, you want to reduce understeer and oversteer in this car. So you want to make sure that it keeps within the same line, within the path, not going, beyond it, making this a much safer car. What it does during normal city driving, though, is that it gives you this more dynamic type of handling. It's still pretty numb because it's still an MPV, it's still an SUV, but the steering is definitely responsive. If you ask me, it's more responsive than most other SUVs and MPVs out there. So yeah, that's one more thing that I like about the Xpander Cross. It's the steering, it's the active yaw control, the traction control. It's actually not bad, especially for a car of this size and at this price point. So top marks in that one. All right, so the fifth and final reason why you might not want to get a Mitsubishi Xpander Cross is its pricing. This Mitsubishi Xpander Cross starts at 1,328,000 pesos. If you've got that much money to spend, you have a weird dilemma, because would you rather get the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross over some other newer, more advanced or more modern cars and that same price points that have turbochargers, that have all these nice safety features? If you really need a 7-seater crossover MPV or SUV, the Xpander Cross might be a good proposition. But if you can live without the third row, there are other options out there. That's the one thing about the Xpander Cross that I have against it. It's probably the value proposition. But if you put all of these things together, you're at a weird position, because it offers you a lot of things that you really need in a 7-seater SUV, but at the same time, some other stuff that you might be left wanting as well. So at the end of the day, the Xpander Cross might be the perfect car for some other people. Make sure that you make the right decision whenever you purchase your 7-seater SUV. The Xpander Cross is a good option for that. But again, make sure that you research it properly. Make sure that everything that you need in a 7-seater SUV is here, so that you won't be left wanting. We don't want you to have buyer's remorse. That's why we make these kinds of videos. So those are the 5 reasons why you shouldn't get the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross. What other cars do you think we should really nitpick in this kind of video? Drop us a comment in the comment section down below, and while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. This is Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph, and I'll see you guys next time.